Okay, so let me go over some supplies you'll need. Just like a plastic, clipboard, or some kind of plastic clipboard. Doesn't have to be plastic. It could be, has to have some kind of coating on it, so it's basically waterproof, right? And then I use a piece of Arch 100% cotton cold pressed paper. It's the loose paper from the pad. If it's a block, it's not going to work, right? It has to be loose. I go over the paints as I use them. So the trick to this is you're going to be wetting the back and then you're wetting the front, right? So whatever works for you to wet the back and the front. I'll just grab a really big, wide, grabbing some more paper towels as I talk to you. Just a big flat brush, or you can grab a sea sponge or a sponge, right? And you just wet the back. And you're going to flip it over, and basically it will stick to your plastic board or your wood board. Some people I know use like maple board. This is also how you kind of stretch the paper. Flip it over. See, now it's kind of sticks. And now we're going to get it wet on this side. And this will make your paper stay wet longer. This is great if you want to try all kinds of skies and whatnot, but this is a great technique to use if you want to have some really kind of fun wet on wet techniques. And now it's pretty wet, right? Not soupy wet, nice and damp. Pick up the water, you see that nice shine on all of it. Fantastic. So now we're going to mix up some paint. I'm just going to use my Princeton 12 Aqua Elite. And you can play with the sky and the meadows. We're going to do like a fall looking meadow. You can make the sky a little bit of gray. So I'm going to add some ultramarine blue deep and some burnt sienna. Dip some more water. It's very, very loose consistency. You can get a bigger brush if you want. I'm going to drop in a nice kind of grayish sky. Or you can even make it a little bit more brown. You can make a whole entire design be like very, very brown, fallish colors. Get some brown in there, some gray. So I'm going to take a bigger brush. I have a bunch of bigger brushes. Just a big old mop brush, a 16 Neptune series. Big old mop brush. And we're going to start to play with the ground here. So I have the color called sepia. Here's burnt umber and lunar black. Just going to play with adding these colors in there like this, back and forth. A little thicker with the paint. It was really loose before. Ooh, that little splotch. Doesn't matter if I have a splotch or not. Could add a little yellow in here, make it a more mustardy yellow. I'm going to add some greens too, but see, I'm just kind of going back and forth, up and down. Getting these colors in here. This is a sepia color I was telling you about from Holbein. It's a nice, dark, deep color. Right? Playing around with this. I'm going to grab some water and kind of move it more. It will stay wet for a long time, like I said. Grab that sepia color. Just kind of move the paint up like some grasses. By the way, also have close at hand either a white watercolor or white gouache. Taking more of the sepia, a little thicker. Now I'm going to use a smaller brush. You can use a liner brush or long round, something like this. This is Princeton 8 long round Velvet Touch series. Grabbing some more of the sepia. I can even grab some of that lunar black, just dark color. Wisping up some nice big grasses like this. Or if you want to make it a little bit lighter, I'm grabbing some yellow in here. And the burnt sienna. Little yellow grasses. I like the dark too. It's a combination of both. We're kind of going up and out. Woo, that was a big one. Unexpected, but always fun. Take your time. Different colors helps. So grabbing that burnt sienna. Like I said, it's going to stay wet for a long time, so you can just take your time with this. And there's that sepia color. Going to get a little bit darker down below here. And this little patch in here. It's thick. We can do some scraping too. And smaller strokes here, like a cluster. Just like a fun little meadow. I'm getting a little bit darker over here. You can add, just take your brush with a thick paint right out of the tube. Maybe start to do some little branches. Now it won't move as much if it's really, really thick. If it's wet, it's going to move because remember the paper is still very damp. I'm going to add some little branches here. Starting to dry back over here. Getting a dark color. That one little line is kind of fun, right? Grabbing more of this paint, thicker, right out of the tube, basically. Getting down here in some of these areas. And then I'm going to grab some of this yellow. Mustardy, mix it with the burnt sienna. All right, I'm going to lift some of this paint off my palette. Very wet and watery. You could have grays in there. It doesn't have to all be browns, but I'm doing more browns. There's the burnt sienna, which I really like. I'll add some yellow to this. We get like a mustardy yellow color. I love this little color. So we're going to start to play with washing in a little bit of that white watercolor. It's going to act like really kind of drippy flowers. I can grab some black too. Here's some black in here. Just going to grab some more of this deep dark color. It's going to show up better in the darker color areas. Okay, so I'm going to remove some of this paint here. Grab some of this white watercolor and dilute it. Super fun. Whatever brush works for you to dilute it. A bigger brush will have bigger splatters. So I've got this. I go back to my number 12 Aqualite Lucenist. And now, this is because it's watercolor. It's translucent. It'll be more translucent. It might dry even like super clear. If you have gouache, it's less translucent. So I'm just going to splat. Look how pretty. And now it might just dissipate, like I said, and you might not even see them at all. If you grab it thicker, you can kind of just tap in more of a circle in some areas. Just like this, I'm tapping in, grabbing the thicker paint with hardly any water. Because right now, if you kept it like that, which is great, it won't stay like this. It's going to be diluted because it's watercolor. If it was gouache, it might stay more white, which is still fun. So you could try both, right? That's the white watercolor. If I grab some gouache, like I said, it's a little more opaque. It won't be as translucent. Depends on how you want it to look. So here's the gouache. Thicker. It's really pretty though. It's a great effect. Now, we don't always have to keep it the white and the beige, which is true. We can grab a little bit of this burnt sienna, some yellow, that mustardy yellow, kind of thick, even more thicker yellow. Splatter some of that. Pretty. Or even just take the yellow itself right out of the tube. Do some little dots, or even bigger ones of flowers. You could even make like little daisy type flowers. You know, just got to play with it. A little more yellow. grab some gouache, mix it in with the yellow, and tap that. Now I'm going to go back with my long round, some of the darker colors again. Now they're starting to dry. A little bit thicker again. I want some nice little, almost like wheatgrass kind of coming in here. And you could play around with scraping too. If you have a credit card, get a nice little credit card with the little rounded edge. I like the little rounded edge. That's damp. You can kind of scrape some areas for grass as well. In some areas, not everywhere, right? Like I said, I'm going to go back and grab my sepia. I like this because it looks like wheat, right? You can kind of tap it on both sides or make like a wheat color. Just a bunch of nice little branches going in here. So it's really starting to dry now. Might keep some of that later. And get down here. I'm going to grab some lunar black on some of these areas, kind of darker. Now, this is just all fall tones. You can have an unexpected color in there, maybe a little orange in there. So cadmium red light, a little cadmium yellow deep. Get a lovely orange color. I'll just kind of tap in some of these areas. Could be little cute little orange wildflowers here and there. A little bit more red. Just not everywhere, you know, a little unexpected in certain areas. Kind of sweet. Tap a little bit of orange up here. And I'm going to make a nice like mustardy yellow again. Coming up here. Some like wheat. Okay, at this point, I do want it to dry. I'm going to come back over it with some hard edge lines and whatnot to make some wheat. You just got to keep playing. You know, people ask me all the time, when do you know when to stop? When you start to feel like, if you're questioning it, then you should stop. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes you should stop and just take a step back and then see. All right, I think I'm liking this. I don't know about over here. I might want to splatter a little bit of this yellow, orange, up over in here. Yeah, I like that. And down a little bit here. Some bright yellow. Really kind of pretty. Okay, I'm going to try and let this dry. And it's going to take a while because remember, it's very wet, 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 wet. But look at the outcome. It's really kind of cool coming together. This wonderful meadow, you know, these lovely colors. In some areas you can make it even dark. I might actually grab my ultramarine blue deep and burn sienna. Get some deeper grays happening here. Put a little bit of that in here. It just changes that kind of area. Right? A little spot of darkness right there. Some down in here. And then you could do a little, I have one scrape, but I could go back when it's seeping in and add a couple little more skinnier ones. The wider ones, little skinnier ones. Really sweet. All right, we're going to let this dry and we're going to come back. So it's dry. I love the way it looks. You might want to grab some beiges and browns and do a couple little stems with your long round. I'm going to water it down just a little bit and make like a little wheat. So basically a line and these little lines kind of next to it, like a little V. Some wheatgrass. These are just little details that you do at the end. Just a few. You don't have to have them everywhere. See, I'm just doing little lines across on each side. Do, 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 do. So wheat is growing in the field. Now, as you see, the white has dissipated, but that's fine. Grow a little bit more wheat in here. Add some stems to some of these flowers. If you don't have any, kind of connect them. There's that sepia. And you can go ahead and put in some like really cute hard edge flowers too. So little daisies. It's always up to you. I mean, I love this look. It's fun. Some wheatgrass up here. You don't need it everywhere, just here and there. Oh, it's just some branches that have little fauna on them. Super sweet. I love it. Have fun playing with this, guys. So many different things you can do. I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you want the extended version, join my Patreon. You click the link in the description box below to join my Patreon. We get exclusive tutorials, extra tutorials, extended versions, you know, live stream. You get the first dibs on watercolor workshops and retreats, which is a super plus because my workshops sell out on Patreon and rarely go public. So yeah, it's a great little perk and it helps support me here on my channel, which I really appreciate. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.